Okay, this is my first video, so bear with me. But I wanted to kind of talk in person about how I was 4.5 months pregnant and I had no idea because I posted on Instagram, but it was typed. It wasn't like my emotions and things like that. And it's definitely taken me some time to process those things. But I'm going to go like way back. So if it's not like interesting to you, I get it, but I kind of want to keep track for myself too, especially like in this moment, just to be transparent and be able to go back after I have Jackson and be able to see everything that I really have gone through in these since January 1st. So January 1st I started prep, and it wasn't planned to be an 8-month prep. It was planned to only be one show, but since I placed first in my first local show, I was like, fuck it, let's just keep going. So it turned into 8 months. During January 1st, like I said, I placed first and it went super well and I was really excited and I liked how I looked. And so the goal was to do one more local show for practice and then to do a national show in Las Vegas. So I started to prep even harder and diet harder for my second show. And leading up to it, like a month out, I was having issues losing weight and I didn't know why. Like I was eating everything I was supposed to. I was doing even more cardio. I was lifting weights and everything. Like nothing changed. So I had a feeling like, oh, like, maybe my body's just kind of tired. Like maybe I've just been on this diet for like too long. I don't know, but my weight ended up going down to what it was my first show, but it didn't get any lower. And when I was on stage, honestly, I didn't even care about being on stage. I really cared about eating, and it was kind of weird to me because like that's not the point, but I just couldn't wait to get off stage and to eat. And I was like, oh, I just can't wait to have like my cookies and whatever. So I definitely ate, and I went a long time without cheating at all on a lot of foods and stuff, so I think that was hard. But after that show, because I felt like I didn't come in like lean enough, I was kind of upset and frustrated with myself. And I was like, okay, like what else can I do? Like is there anything else I can do to push myself to that next level? Because my national show is huge. So I decided to try a new diet plan. I was working out harder. I was doing even more cardio. And I was preparing for this Las Vegas show, which was scary to me because that was my first national show. And everything was going good, and I actually lost even more weight. I was looking leaner for sure. But my hunger got so much worse, and I felt like it was normal. Like I felt like, these athletes are doing this year round, and if they're as hungry as me, then I shouldn't be complaining. So I didn't complain about it, but it came to the point where I was like hallucinating about food. I dream about it, and I literally couldn't even be around it, and couldn't see people eat. I couldn't smell it, and it started to get really bad. And it got really bad to the point where I felt kind of like I was going a little insane. But I was so close to my next show that I was like, fuck it, like I'll just push through, it's fine. So speaking of that, I was 9 days out from my Vegas show. I already paid for everything. I paid for my fees for the show, the Vegas ticket, all that stuff was already paid for. And so it was peak week, and I was basically now just waiting. And people know how peak week is. Like you literally don't do anything but like eat your little food and sit there in bed and just kind of sleep and just wait things out. So that's what I was doing. And I honestly I couldn't like bear one more second of finishing my prep, and it was so sad for me, and it made me feel really bad because I'm not the type of person to just like quit things, especially after 8 months of like putting in all this hard work and like wanting to see like all of my hard work pay off and show. So I called my mom and I was just like crying. I just said, hey, like I said, I can't go another second or day without food. It's just, I can't handle it. I said, if I do, I feel like I will go mentally insane, and it's not good for my mental health, and I need to put that first. And so she said, no worries, I understand. And I didn't get any of my money back for the shows, but I can re-enter obviously later in the future. So I stopped, and then I started to eat food again, and I was like feeling happier, but I also had like really bad anxieties with food. I was kind of nervous like about eating certain things, and because my diet was so strict for so long that I had a hard time having fun too, really, and like wanting to go out and drink and party, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna gain weight, I'm gonna get fat, so I was having all these anxieties, and I was still working out and stuff, doing my cardio, but the food thing was kind of weird for me for a while. And when I started to cheat, I had a hard time being able to mentally be okay with that. I felt like I would make myself feel bad if I cheated and stuff, and I'd be like make myself do extra cardio and things like that, or I'd have a hard time eating the food on my diet plan. It came to the point to where I started to binge eat kinda for like 2 weeks, where I knew that I was only supposed to have like one cheat meal, but I had like 3 or 4, or I would eat a massive bag of like hot Cheetos all to myself, and which isn't, obviously people do that all the time, but for me it was like abnormal. So then I was getting upset because I was like, okay, like I'm supposed to like rebound, like I don't want to get fat after like being so lean for so long, because that can happen to a lot of people. And I was crying to my sister, and I was like, dude, like I don't know what's going on. I was like, I think I have mental problems, like I can't eat right, like I just keep cheating. And so she said, yeah, she said, honestly, I feel like prep really messed you up. And I was bummed, but I'm like, yeah, like this is weird, like I feel like maybe competing did kind of mess me up a little bit. Then I just continued to work out, and I started to notice that when I was doing hip thrusts that my abdomen hurt. I was like, that's super weird. And obviously, like if you're competing, that you pee a lot. It's normal to pee a lot when your body loses water and when your carbs are really low. But when my carbs increased, I was still peeing a lot, which I didn't really notice that quickly, but I did notice it later. And I was eating higher carbs now, so like your body should be like holding more water, but that wasn't happening. And I was still peeing all the time, and the hip thrusts hurt me. And it's to the point where like I couldn't even like thrust up fully, because I felt like there was something hard like somewhere in my uterus, bladder, I don't know. So I was getting frustrated. I'm like, okay, like why now does it seem like I have like an eating disorder? Like I have something going on with my uterus or bladder, which makes no sense to me. And then I'm peeing all the time. So it took me about like a month after my show, or like a month and a half after, to go to urgent care, because I was like, okay, something is like wrong. Because I remember I was on the treadmill, and I was going really fast. Like I was like sweating, dying, whatever. And I felt this like something move, and I was like, oh my God, that feels super weird. Like I usually don't ever feel something like move. And it was really fast, but I did feel it. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, like I have like a cyst, like I got a tumor, or like something's like not connected to what it needs to be. So I went to urgent care, and I was convinced that I had like a bladder tumor or like stone. I was like, I got something, or like maybe I had like, I don't know, some other like peeing issue or whatever. So I told the nurse just that. I said, I don't know, I got problems. So she's like, okay, no worries. And I peed in a cup, and I told the lady, I said, hey, like I feel like you need to check me out. Like I'd appreciate it if like you like went in there and like just double check everything looks good, because I've had issues. And she said, oh no, like you're totally fine, but you're pregnant. And of course, like, I mean, like you would see in movies somewhere, like I was like flabbergasted and absolutely shocked, and I was blown away, and I didn't know what to say. And I kept asking her, like, are you sure I am? And she said, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know how. And she said, why? And I said, well, because I personally didn't have sexual intercourse and for a few months. I said, like, I had no desire to hook up with anyone. So I said, I don't know how I could be pregnant. And so she said, well, obviously, if you don't have sex, you won't get pregnant. I'm like, okay, clearly. But I didn't have, the last time that I, like, had sexual intercourse was in April. And at this point, it was August, like, 15th or something. So she said that I was 4.5 months pregnant, and I had no idea. And you couldn't tell. I mean, my bladder did start to look a little bit inflamed then, but it was like nothing you could see. And I told her, I said, wow, I said, I had no idea that it could even possibly be alive. I said, because I've been doing such hard cardio. I was like, my diet was like really crazy. And she said, well, obviously your baby wants to live. And she showed me the ultrasound, and it was so insane to see a full human body with a head and arms and legs like in there. And I was blown away. I was terrified. I was super scared, but I was also just like, wow, like I put my body through like so much shit, and like how could there be a human in there? But it makes sense. Like, it makes sense why I was binge eating. Like, that is a symptom of being pregnant. It makes sense why I was really tired all the time, but I just said, like, I'm not a bitch. Like, I'm going to keep working out kind of thing, and just would take a bunch of pre-workout. That's the other thing. I was taking insane amounts of caffeine. So, yeah. I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, all right, well, I don't know what to do. And it was really hard for me to make the choice whether I should keep it or not. It was also hard for me to think about having an abortion because the baby was already so far along, and being able to see a 4.5 month old, living human body like in you is a lot harder than people think. And I kind of felt like I didn't really have too much of a excuse to have an abortion, besides the fact that like I wanted to live my life my way, and I wasn't ready to get pregnant. But personally, like, thinking about that isn't a large enough reason for me to carry through. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I will have birth, and then I will give it away to a family that really loves it. But then I have a hard time with that because, like there's really no guarantees in life. And, people want kids so bad. And there's some like ladies and women and families and husbands and wives that want to have a child so bad and they can't. And I feel like this child, honestly, to me, is a gift. The fact that it wanted to survive this whole time, the fact that it's alive and it's healthy, like it wants to live. And I feel like, even though I'm scared and it's, definitely unknown territory for me to become a mother, I want to be a mother to my child. And I feel like my child has so much to offer this world, a lot more than I even can comprehend and know. So I don't want to cry, but, so yeah, I decided to keep it. And, I have had to go through a lot of like mental changes. I mean, on top of like pregnancy symptoms, which I'm very, very blessed that I never had morning sickness. I'm really, really blessed that I'm able to still work out. I definitely have changed some things, but yeah, it's been great. It's been such a change for me, and it's changed my outlook on a lot of things, on my outlook of relationships, my friends, family, things that really matter to me. You know, it's easy for us to get wrapped up on Instagram and social media and feel like that's like our lives, but really there is so much more to that, and there is so much more to partying and having fun. Like I'm not against it at all. Like, don't get me wrong, I 100% still will, but there is just so much more to that. And life is so precious, and life really is short, and no one knows how long they're gonna live. So I want to make the best choice, not only for myself but for Jackson as well. And I hope one day that I'm able to inspire other moms or ladies out there that are having a hard time with the same thing. I mean, making that choice is not easy, let alone, like, obviously not having a partner involved either is really hard. But it's not impossible, and it's not the end of the world. And you know, I really believe Jackson's going to be an amazing man one day. And I think I will be an amazing mom, and I'm going to make mistakes and learn along the way. But it's going to be okay. And I think that there is always like a really great miracle behind, you know, unexpected situations and things that happen to you or to anyone else, and all you can do is learn from it and grow and thrive and do what you gotta do. But I am planning on having like regular birth. Like I'm not really planning on doing a natural birth because I don't know, I just have had a lot to process, and I'm gonna get an epidural for sure. I'm still trying to kind of figure out my birth plan. I have been watching like birthing videos and all that fun stuff, and have been preparing for him, and have been like getting like his room's ready, his baby room's ready. My baby shower is going to be next Sunday, and my birthday is going to be on Saturday. So I'm really excited to just spend time with my family and friends and the people that have been there for me through this whole thing. Like, it really means so much. And I still work out, and just the amount of people that have came up to me and have just like been so nice to me, like, means so much. Because it is like definitely a big change, but I'm so blessed and so showered with so much love. And it makes me so grateful for just the people that don't even know me, that are just like inspired and have just been so kind. So I'm very thankful for everyone that has been there, near or far. And I think that this will be like a really good story to be able to tell and to encourage someone. I hope that, you know, whoever it is that's watching this, that you, that in some way I could help you, whether it is with randomly becoming a mother, or whether it's anything else that's hard and challenging. Like, there is faith and there is hope no matter how hard it is. And I really do believe that God would never give you anything that you can't handle, not even me, you know? So yeah, that is my full story on how I didn't know. Now I do, and I'm in my 3rd trimester, so shit's gonna fly.